And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
You know, so that's our life mission. That's the McShin's mission.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have a cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, you showed up.
I'm John Shinholzer, president and co-founder of the McShin Foundation here in Richmond, Virginia. You know, we have a wonderful recovery center, many recovery residences. We carry the message of hope in many institutions. We just do a lot of wonderful things here. But one of the things I'm especially proud of is we created a memorial garden. And a memorial garden is a beautiful garden that has just a place where we can memorialize our loved ones lost to this illness. So I want to send the country a strong message and build out this memorial garden, but I need your help. So please go to our website, click on the link to Memorial Garden, and purchase a brick for your loved one, very inexpensive. And let's show the country that we matter, that we count, and that we're not going anywhere.
Got a chance to live 2 lives in 1 lifetime. You know what I mean?
Getting fired up early tonight, Marshall. Good job.
Oh, this is my
Yeah, you're good. Hey, I'm John Shinholzer, president and co-founder of the McShin Foundation, also a person of long-term recovery from substance use disorders. For me, that means I've been clean and sober a little over 40 years, and I've been coming up in facilities carrying this hope shot, and something we like to do at McShin. For the viewers out there, I'd like you to, consider getting a brick for our memorial garden. We have a memorial garden at McShin. It's one of the few in the country designated for folks who pass away from our illness. So this time of year, it's a good time of year to get a brick for your loved one. We love coming in here. We got some visitors with us in the back of the room. Everybody that comes in here is in recovery. We've all been where you're at, done what you did, and we found a way out. And hopefully we don't come back. You know what I mean? We're very grateful for the sheriff to let us come in her jail every week. We rotate, come to Jail West 1 week, Jail East the other week. This is just what we do. This is who we are. Sheriff, you want to say anything before we get going? We always love to hear from the sheriff.
Sharing is caring, right?
Yeah.
So John has shared with me that Jimmy McGill is planning on, and I talked to him today when he was on the phone with John, coming to be with us in February. And so I've read a lot of books. I'm excited when I get a chance to meet an author and then read their book because it kind of personalizes it for me, right? I haven't even met him, and I'm so excited. His book is it's an amazing read.
It is.
So I have, and for readers, I know everybody's not a reader, right? So for 3 of my avid readers, I have a copy of this book, knowing that I am going to work on getting more copies of this book because it is the type of book that you go through and highlight. I don't think you share it. I think you keep it because I've never read somebody's story, and there were so many profound points that I wanted to highlight to be able to go back, to be able to read those points and share. So I have 3. I will get more. John actually blessed me with 2 of these. I bought 3 copies. I gave copies away to my staff. So I'm just excited that you all are bringing that caliber of people in here to keep encouraging us, not only encouraging them, but encouraging me too. All right.
Well, we're gonna buy, McShin's buying 100 books, and we're gonna bring them when Jimmy comes talk, so he can do a book signing for those that want a book after they hear us talk. So
I still want a signed copy too.
Absolutely,
but,
we got plenty of books coming.
But I think it is now. So I think it just intensifies the experience.
Oh, absolutely.
If we've read the book
Yep.
when he comes, because, I think that'll really move the conversation along. So
Absolutely.
that's all. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to let Marshall introduce the speaker because he knows the speaker better than I do, and he's probably closer to him. But I do want to thank our folks for coming in here tonight from the outside and witnessing what we're doing. We appreciate y'all coming. And any of y'all want to say a quick word before we get into the meeting? Come on up here. You got to come up here and do that. This is Amanda. How do we say it? We suspended our height limit for people we brought in tonight so she could come in. It's for Facebook people.
Okay.
It's for the live feed.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm 30 years old. I have an 11-year-old son. I've actually done 5.5 years myself, and this month will be a year since I've been home. I actually came through McShin first, and then now I work at Journey House Foundation. I've been clean 7 months, a little over 7 months, and I've literally got a government job. I get to see my son whenever I want to. I get him for Thanksgiving, Christmas. This is like the best life I've ever had. I never thought, I have 8 felonies on my record. I never thought that the government would ever want anything to do with somebody like me. I'm not from this area, but coming out here was probably my best decision. So I always thought meetings weren't for me. Fuck this. Sorry, excuse my language.
You heard me none.
And sorry, I'm nervous. But honestly, it's been the best decision I've ever made. So I don't know what you guys are in here for, if you guys have a habit or what type of drug. Mine was heroin. I've overdosed, and this has just been like the most amazing thing I've ever done. So I want to thank them, and I hope you guys
Pay
the best.
attention and stay off drugs and
Really.
make the most out of these presentations.
Because
so.
it will save your life. And it will keep you from places like this, because this is not where anybody needs to be. Trust me, I've been there. And it sucks. I've been to prison. I've done all that. So thanks for letting me.
Good. Thanks for coming out and sharing that. Johnny, you want to say something?
Come on, John.
Come on.
Good evening. My name is John, and I'm an addict. I come at this a little differently than most of the people in this room. I have never been incarcerated. I do
Not yet.
Not yet. I do not know what it's like to be in a jail, but I know what it's like to be addicted. I spent 45 years of my life in active addiction. And it's not until in April of 2021, April 20th, 2021, that I began to ask for help. I was scared to say I am an addict. I wouldn't say it. For 45 years, I would not admit it, especially the last 10 years where it just got worse and worse and worse. But today, with the help of a lot of people, this man, and all these people around me, I am able to say I'm an addict. And I'm also able to go into areas I've never gone before. You talked about doing things you're not comfortable with. Back in February, he got me interested in going to speaking about recovery in the jail, and that's where I met Stuart. And that's why I came tonight, because I'm proud of him. I'm proud of what he's done, I'm proud of what he's doing, and I'm proud of what he's going to do. But I am an addict. And now I don't just say I'm an addict. I say I'm an addict and I'm okay with it. I'm in recovery and I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Good hit. Thank you, John. I'll give that to him. Hey, Art, you want to come up, say a few words? Just set the headset. You sure? Come on up. Just say hello one time. You can leave the board alone. I'll tell Art's story for you, man. He came to us from California. He'd been to rehab how many times? 9 times. And how long you been clean now?
Almost a year.
He's got almost a year. This is the first place he's been to where he was able to really get his act together and try his best. So we're proud of you for coming out here from California, going through McShin. He's still in McShin. He's an employee of ours. He does our audio technical stuff. A lot of jobs out there in recovery, not just being a peer leader or facilitator, but all these recovery centers, all these Suboxone clinics, all these treatment centers, outpatient program, peer workforce, that's one of the fastest growing needed workforces out there. So, give us some thought, as you're doing what you do here. If you want to be in this industry and find your way through here, there are going to be jobs available. There's lots of training out there. So it's a good way of life. You don't get rich doing this, but if you can stay clean, that's better than being rich. You know how much money we spend on getting drugs, chasing drugs, and lawyers, and bond, and the ramen noodles. I know they don't cost too much, but it adds up. You know what I mean? So, anybody else? Julie, you want to say anything? Ike, Zeke, Jack, Steve, what is it? Steve, you want to say anything? You good? All right, Marshall, you can introduce our wonderful speaker we got now. I'm excited to hear this guy talk because since I know him, he talks a lot, okay? I want to hear him put it all in one nice presentation. So I'm excited, man.
We alive.
We alive.
And me and the speaker tonight, man, we go back. John mentioned it. I've been in and out of jails, man, because that's my foundation. That's where I came from, And man, I have met some people in and out of jails, and I've been doing it long enough to be able to just see the inside and not the outside, And that was Stuart. I met Stuart at Pamunkey Regional Jail, And Stu was one of these guys, man, that wake up in the morning mad. You know what I'm saying? Just mad about anything. Just mad about living. You know what I'm saying? And, me and Stuart, and he was kind of defiant. You know what I mean? But, I've been here long enough to understand, get beneath that shell. You know what I'm saying? We come here and all our stuff is on the surface. You know what I mean? Let's get beneath the surface and see what's going on. And man, like Amanda, thank you for sharing, Amanda, and that was part of my hype, man. We started doing things that we didn't think we were capable of doing, And man, I saw Stuart, man, he had, he was coming back, you know what I mean? And I told him, I said, Stu, I'm gonna give you my number before you leave. And man, I hadn't seen him in 2 years. Man, he spit my number out. He spit it out to me, and boy, that touched me, you know what I'm saying? And me and him been rolling ever since. And I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of him for doing what he's doing now, And with that, I give you Stu. Hey, all right, do he need this? Okay. Love you, man.
Man, how y'all doing, man? I'm Stu, I'm an addict. Main message I want to come in here and tell you, man, like, I walked out that door right there July 1st of this year. July 1st of this year, I walked out that door right there. And I'm here to tell y'all and tell anybody else in the active addiction, man, you don't ever have to, when you leave here, you don't ever have to walk back in here. You don't ever have to pick up, use any mind-altering, mood-changing, stabilizing, no drugs. And, man, what's up, man? What you doing, bro? I knew you. Yeah, man. But I'm gonna go back a little bit, man. I ain't gonna go all the way back, but my addiction started way, way, way before I even picked up one drug. When I was a child, man, when I go back, my mom left me. A lot of their stories are the same. My mom left me. My dad was an alcoholic, drunk, laying on the couch. Was there, but wasn't a father figure to me. Didn't do nothing for me, didn't take me to sports, didn't do none of that. Thank God I had two brothers to do that for me. But I can remember being that young and having to fend for myself, So I started stealing from my grandma. That was probably my first addiction. And it started with stealing a quarter, 50 cents here, $1 there. That's how I got started. Well, once that, then I was an adrenaline junkie at a very early age. So, just doing whatever I wanted to do. I can remember her giving me a People's Charge card at 8 years old saying, go get your own clothes, spend this amount of money. I'd run the limit up. That's what I knew. That's how I did it. In elementary school, I'm taking packs of cigarettes. 8, 10 years old, 5th grade, taking packs of cigarettes into school. already at that age, somebody telling me, I already know that they telling on me that's the wrong thing to do, at that early of an age. So as I'm coming through middle school, like I'm feeling like I ain't worth nothing. I all these insecurities. My clothes ain't good enough. My attitude just totally stinks. I don't got no self-esteem. I don't got no nothing. So what I turn to violence. Like literally, violence is what I knew at that point in time. Because in my household, I wasn't taught feelings, man. I didn't get the good morning, son, get on the bus, walk you to the bus stop, give you a little hug, kiss, I love you, have a good day. I didn't get all that. The only thing I got was if you're bullied, beat somebody up, don't express your feelings, don't tell nobody how you feel. So that's what I did. So as I'm going through middle school, basically the same story. You know what I'm saying? I'd much rather, instead of, hey, how you doing, what's up, I'd rather have conversations so I can just isolate, don't even have to deal with nobody. That's how I deal with all my anger, all my depression, all my anxiety, all that. I deal with it by myself. I was a loner. I had no friends. I can remember in middle school, high school, I might have had 2 friends that I called my friends, but if they didn't benefit me some way, shape, or form, they wasn't nothing to me. It was nothing. So my mom comes back about middle school, 7th, 8th grade. She comes back, and instead of showing me unconditional, genuine love, she tries to buy my love. Taking me shopping, buying me this, buying me that, buying me all the nice clothes, just showering me with gifts instead of showering me with that genuine love. So as I'm stealing her cigarettes, no consequences. I couldn't tell you what a consequence was. I don't know what no kind of punishment was. I'm stealing her cigarettes, stealing her money, taking everything out of the house. At 14 years old, that's what I know. So I started smoking some weed around that time. I got one of my older brother's friends. They back in the day they want to sell some weed. So I'm stealing that. Going to school, selling it, then I think I want to sell drugs. I go into little stores and I steal all these little bags of candy, steal all this stuff, and trying to sell it on the school bus, trying to do, doing things like that, all to fill a void of somebody wanting to accept me. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted everybody to accept me. I wanted to impress everybody. I wanted to people please. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted out of life. I wanted everybody to be proud of me. I wanted to, oh, Stu, I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad you're doing that. But I wanted that, but I didn't want to be recognized. So if you tell me good job, good job, I couldn't accept that. But if you didn't tell me, I'm mad that you didn't do it. You feel what I'm saying? So as I get in high school, I'm pretty much on my own at this point. My mom, she's working a job at a waitress job, and then working a job at nighttime. So my brother's raising me. He don't know how to raise no child. He don't know how to raise a child, much less a teenage boy with insecurities, low self-esteem. All these things, man, that led me to active addiction is what it did, because all these feelings, all these emotions. That's a big part of my recovery today. Like when they say this is a feelings disease, I didn't know that till I got here. But I'll get into that. But all these feelings, I just wanted to mask them. I didn't want to, I didn't want to face them. I didn't want to deal with them. I didn't want to deal with being sad. I didn't want to cry in front of nobody. I didn't want to do none of that. So I could never get it out. They take me to these therapists, and I'd just be totally buck mode with that. I never even tried to apply myself, never even was honest to nobody. And they're telling them exactly what they want to hear so I can hurry up and get my ass up out of there so I can go do what I do. So as I go through high school, of course, the relationship comes in effect. So I got a girlfriend that's super good to me. Her people got some money, so I'm same thing. Get into that, move in with her mom, move in with her dad. And at some point in there, man, she was like a mother to me. I ain't gonna say a mother, but she was somebody that wanted to see me do good. She cared about me, genuinely cared about me. She cared about my well-being. She didn't, she couldn't do but so much, but she helped me out. So I kind of got somewhat straight, like I got a job, I learned a trade. Once I learned a trade, man, I kind of took off a little bit. I opened up a little business, and same thing, man. Like, I just people please. Whatever I can do to make somebody think that I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be the cool person. I wanted to be the number one person. I wanted to be the person that everybody come to for anything. But when they came, I just straight push them away, man. I never did. I couldn't be trusted, for one. I judged everybody that sat in front of me. You know what I'm saying? That's the main part of this program, honest, open-minded, and willing. That's not just for this program for me. That's like for life. Now that I look back on my story, if I could have been a little honest, a little open-minded, a little willing to do some things before active addiction, I'd have never been here, I feel. But since I got here, that's the main thing that keeps me going today. That's the first thing I heard, so that's what I do. So as I got my little business going, I'm hiring these people, coming in, coming out, drug addicts, just like myself, not even knowing that I was a drug addict at a time, denying it. So when I made my first year, I made like $580,000. Yet my second year, I spent $180,000 smoking crack, shooting, sniffing dope, whatever I could find. So that kind of crashed on me, man. So then, that's when the criminal shit came in, man. And that's like my story, to be honest with you. I got locked up 2009, November 28, 2009, man. I got locked up. I was looking at 27 felonies. It was 20 B&Es is what it was, and then you know what comes behind that. You got the possession of stolen property, selling it, everything that comes with that. So as I'm in the jail, I'm sitting behind this door, still same thing. I want to people please. I want to be on the poker table. I want to be into everything but what I should be in. When all along, when that door shuts at night, man, I'm sitting with my own bullshit, my own still insecurities, low self-esteem, all that. So after I got into my first bid, I turned straight to anger. It was nothing but anger, like Marshall said, man. When they come in the program, when I go in this little drug program. And, they're like, yeah, well, man, do this. Man, fuck all that. Whatever can get me out of jail. That's all I want to do. Whatever I got to tell this one or that one, who I got to talk to that'll get me a letter for the court that said they'll let me out. So that's what I did. I told them what they needed to hear, so they let me out. I go to the program. I think I'm there 6 days. I go in the recovery house, and same thing, want to please everybody. And my thinking, my disease tells me, I'm going into a recovery house with a bunch of addicts, well, then I probably need to take some drugs. So 6 days later, 7 days later, they're like, man, you got to get up out of here. So I did a 6-year stint, man. I did 6 years on my first stint. I come home December 1st, 2014. By May 3rd, I got locked up and went straight back and did 5 more years. But in that 5 years, that's when I really gave up the most. That's because as some of y'all know, we locked up, we start losing people. People start giving up on us. People don't believe in us no more. People don't, they get tired of hearing that I'm sorry works probably 4 or 5 times, but sorry don't work no more when it's no action behind it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what happened. As I'm locked up, I'm calling my brother, because my 2 brothers, they pretty much raised me. I'm calling them. They don't even answer the phone no more. My sister, she don't answer. She never did answer the phone pretty much from the day I got locked up. And they are all successful. You know, my sister's a pharmacist. My brother, he's a hydraulic supervisor at King's Dominion. And my other brother owns his own body shop, maintenance shop for vehicles. So, like, I'm putting the blame on everything. Well, they ain't teach me how to do this. They ain't do that. They ain't do this. They ain't give me time. They ain't do that. I'm putting all the blame on them for sitting with myself, but not accepting who I am, really hating who I am. I didn't even like who I was. So my last 5 years, I just total buck mode, man. I go into the penitentiary, and the difference is, I'll shoot a little difference out there between penitentiary and recovery. I can go into a penitentiary and want to be the pod boss and want to do this and want to do that. But if I come out here and sit with my sponsor with 33 years clean, I'm intimidated. Like, that intimidates me today, you know. But today, what inspires me is people like y'all guys, man, that fear things, but y'all overcome that fear. You know, the person that's already overcome the fear and think they're excellent at something, that really ain't my go-to, you know what I'm saying, for inspiration. My inspiration is for y'all to come in just like you're coming in right here. And because, look, being uncomfortable, man, that's what it's all about. Getting you out your element, getting me, for me anyway, getting me out of my comfort zone where I can go get some drugs, get high, sit in my bedroom. I don't have to deal with none of that. I don't have to express my feelings. I don't have to talk to nobody. That was comforting for me. That's what I did for many years, even in the penitentiary. Y'all know just as well as I do. You get drugs in here just as well as you can get them on the street. That's just that's how it is. And that's what I did. That was my mask. I lost my aunt in 2019. I called my mom. The first thing I asked her was, would she leave me? Didn't ask her nothing else. I knew she had cancer. I knew she was fighting cancer. But when she called me and told me, I had no feelings, I had no emotions, at the time thought I really didn't care, was just like, well, all right, okay, that's the story of my life. Losing people, still putting the blame on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? My mom called the law on me. I'm laying on the couch, April 21st. I popped up on the news, April 21st, 2008 or 2009, April 21st, I'm laying on the couch, and I popped up on the TV. And my mom's like, what are you doing, son? Well, I mean, they telling you what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Literally, they telling you what I'm doing. I got to tell you. But, and even then, you know, like, I never got any genuine care. It was always, well, you dumbass, look what you done now. You know, you done mess your life up even more. You done mess your life up even more, this, that. So 2019, when my aunt died, I kind of just like went straight downhill. In the penitentiary, I caught a couple institutional charges. I got sent to Wildlands Ridge in the mountains. Went up there, caught an institutional charge, got shipped back to Sussex 2. Then when I did my little 6 months interim, I went back to Greensville. When I got back to Greensville, they put me in what they called a substance abuse program, but it's pretty much like a therapy. You know, it's not nobody that understands addiction. It's not, the penitentiaries, y'all can, you know, some people say that they offer substance abuse treatment in them. I never seen it. You know, I didn't. You know, I might have been at the wrong ones, but I think they trying to work on it now. And that's why John is so great for doing this right here, man. Like, that man right there, don't nobody care about me. I know he does. Not even knowing who I was, to accept me and believe in me, to come in here and speak to y'all, like, and I told people that today, like, today was like a gratitude day for me, man, for real, because, and what I did, I went to everybody today. Everybody that's either in intense or just getting there, I went and I made sure, man, that I gave them that hope shot, and I told them, like, look, man, I'm so grateful for y'all, man, because I'm getting ready to go speak to some people that's just like me, and I got to remember where I was, and I got to remember who believed in me, who loved me until I learned to love myself, which I still really don't love myself, but I'm learning to. I got a long way to go, man. I'll be clean January 17th. I'll be clean 1 year. I have not had 2-3 days clean time since I was probably 16 years old that I can remember. But when I hit back at Greensville, man, I got with a couple guys, and they didn't get high. They wasn't in recovery, but they tried to, like, you know, teach me. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't teachable at all. I still want to do my thing, but just to please them, which I'm so grateful for, just to please them, I started doing some things halfway right. I stopped gambling. I stopped eating 5 Suboxone strips a day. I stopped doing ice when I could get it. You know, I stopped doing that stuff. And kind of got, like, I knew recovery. You know, I done read the blue book, you know, some of it. You know, I knew about the steps. I knew about some of that stuff. But I never thought that, like, a book could teach me. Well, like, when they told me, when you hear, oh, man, like, they don't got no instruction manual to life, yeah, that's a lie. Because today, like, that blue book, that's my instruction manual to life. I know if I go by and live by that book, and if I keep my network and I keep my little recovery community close, like, I probably got a pretty good chance of making it. You know, that's just bottom line. But when I was getting ready to come home, like, I reached out to my brother. I tried to reach out to my family. It was, you know, acted like, you know, they were happy for me and all that. But on the flip side of things, they were really saying, Jesus Christ, he's on his way home. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen now? Lock your garages. Take all your china out of the china cabinet. Lock your jewelry boxes. All that. You know, so when I came home August 26, 2020. When I came home, I got a job. I had a work van, had about $80,000 worth of tools in it. And when I came home, I told myself that I was gonna try to get in recovery, man. Like, and when I came home, I went to maybe 2 meetings. You know, didn't even feel comfortable, didn't feel welcome, didn't feel like anybody wanted to put time into me, didn't feel like anybody wanted me there. So I just pretty much, like, wiped that out. So by that time, while it's kicking in, man, like, I'm back on dope. Back on strip. I think I got through 3 strips before I was at the dope, man, getting some heroin. But once that happened, I'm on probation. I came home. I called the probation officer one time, but I never even reported. Never even went. You know, never even, just didn't even want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already dirty. They're going to put me on color code. I already know what time it is with that. I'm not going to give them a clean urine. I'm going to give them 5 dirty urines, and they're going to lock me back up. So I didn't even go to that. So I think it was probably 2 or 3 months into that, the guy I was working for, I had him believing, manipulating him any way I could, had him believing that I was doing all the right things. You know, I was getting the work done. But, so he gives me a checkbook, 2 credit cards, and a Lowe's card and a Home Depot card. So one weekend he went out of town, and I called him. I said, well, how are we going to get our paychecks? And he was like, look, I'm going to handle the rest of them. You just go ahead, write your check out to you, and get the guy in the office to sign it. I was like, okay. You tell me one time, you know. And so 5 checks later, I'm right back. So I get locked back up again, and actually that was in Henrico, I think. That was Henrico, and so I go to the RISE program. Needless to say, I go to the RISE program. I meet a couple people down there. You know, I got it this time. 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 And back to the same thoughts, like, man, I just need to get out of jail. I just need to get out of jail. So the same thing, they had this, it's a program in the city, good program. You know, the people, I don't think it's really based on a whole lot of addicts, but it's a really good program. So they gave me bond to that. So I go to this program, And same thing, couple weeks, you know, I'm doing good. I get me a job, start making some money, which is probably one of the biggest triggers that I have today. You know, and that's, I got to call people and tell them, if I get a lump sum of money, I got to call somebody and tell them that. That's how simple I got to keep my life. Because if not, I'll go buy $300 shoes, I'll buy $100 jeans, I'll do real ignorant shit if I get some money in my hand. So I go to this program, and everybody in the house seems to be doing well. So I get with a guy in the house, I start working with him. Same thing, like, you know, we work, and he keeps talking about getting high, keeps talking about getting high, keeps talking about getting high. So, needless to say, started getting high again. This is like, all this is based on my feelings, man, because like not feeling accepted, not feeling like people want to be around me. Because I've pushed so many people away in my life, like they probably don't want to be around me, just because I've been such an asshole my whole life. So as I'm going through this program, people like John trying to help me out, trying to show me a new way of life, trying to, you know, just putting all the effort in me as they can put. And I'm just bucking the system. So I get high again, and I get locked back. When I go to the RISE program, when I go back to the RISE program, like, I was like, no, I'm just not even going to do this. My whole intentions was to leave this jail, go to that jail, thinking that drugs were cheaper down there. You know, like, literally. So I go down there. I bucked the program. They put me in the hole for a couple days. Then they put me in another building, and I ended up going back to the program. And that was the time when it hit me, you know, that I gotta change. When I gotta change, you know, change ain't change till you change something. That's for sure. So that's where I met this guy right here. And so same thing, man. I meet a couple guys, doing my thing, man, acting like I want recovery, but I'm not dealing with the main issues of myself, because I can go anywhere I want, I can change whatever, but I'm gonna take me with me every single time. And if y'all are like I am, if y'all addicts like I am, it don't matter where I go, I'm gonna find it if I want it. I'm gonna get the drugs. So I get down in that program, and They want to give me another bond, but they don't give me a bond this time to a program. They let me go back. They give me, I can't remember the stipulations on that bond, but it was a no tolerance bond, of course. So I go back to my mom's, and again, man, I wasn't even out 2 weeks. I was already high. I didn't report to pretrial. I didn't report to my probation officer. I didn't go to court, of course. And at that time, like, I wanted it. I wanted change. I wanted it, but I couldn't grasp it. So they locked me back up. That's when I went to Pamunkey, and I met John. And I remember my nephew was in there, man, and he's with me. Matter of fact, he's with me today. He's one of the house leaders in the same program I am. And when I walked in that pod, they did some maintenance. He was in the drug program. They did some maintenance in the pod. And so they moved him to my pod for a couple of days. And he was like, man, just come to the program. Just come to the program. And I was like, nah, man, I ain't doing it. I'm not going to no program. So when it come time for him to move him back, he woke me up and was like, look, if you want to go to the program, get up right now. They're going to move you now. And I was like, you know what? Let's go. So I packed my stuff. And like, these words stick with me every day. When I walked in the door, put my stuff down, he walked up to me. And this, when I say my nephew, like, I remember him being a kid wearing diapers. He walks up to me, and this is his exact words. He says, Stu, look, man, just give it up. You don't have to fight no more. You don't have to please nobody. You don't have to make nobody else happy. He said, man, just do yourself a favor and make yourself happy today. And, like, when he said that, man, like, I could, like, my heart fluttered. You know, that's coming from somebody that I watched grow up. I was supposed to be a role model to him. I was supposed to show him the way. I was supposed to do all these things to show him how to be a man when I couldn't even be a man myself. And so I stuck with the program. John's coming in, the facilitators coming in, and like I start reading, you know, I start reading really why I'm here. Like, why am I here? Who's an addict? Like, I start reading these things, and I start reading these little papers that they come in. I start taking notes. You know, I'm writing stuff down. I started journaling a little bit, but when I started journaling, that's when it kind of hit me. That's when I knew. But I didn't have no higher power whatsoever. And little did I know what happened then, that it's something much greater than myself, because when I got locked up that time, I got locked up on January 17th. I was facing 7 years in that county. They put me in cell 7, and so, like, I got 7 tattooed all on my body from the penitentiary I did 11 years in the penitentiary total. I got 7s, because that's my lucky number, tattooed all over my body. So when them 7s hit me, and now that I look back, and when I was in the program, I look back, and that kind of like hit me, because I never believed in God. I never believed in nothing higher, greater than myself. I thought I was the greatest. So I couldn't believe in nothing greater than myself. So I start working this program, and I see Marshall. And I never thought about this man's phone number, and he told you, I never thought about this man's phone number, and I'll never forget this day neither. He said, he was sitting there, I was all the way in the back. I was in the back by my bunk. And he said, look, I'll give you my phone number. I'm going to leave my phone number on the board. And soon as he said that, his number just comes straight out of my mouth without me even thinking about it. But like he said, we go back. So that you know, that let me know that at some point in time, man, that something's possible. You know, something's possible. But I start working. I ain't gonna say working the steps. I started going through them, because for me, you know, out of the 69, 70 questions in that first step, like, I can't talk about nothing but getting high. You know, I can't. I'm not figuring out who I am. All I'm telling is war stories, and all I'm telling myself about is I'm getting high. So I started working a program, something that I'd never done. I never applied myself. So as I'm working this program, like, and these feelings check, this is what was so important to me, these feelings check 10 times a day. I'm like, in the morning I wake up mad. By 2 o'clock, they're asking me how I feel again. I'm like, you know, I'm still mad, you know, but as that started unfolding, I started getting different feelings throughout the day. Then after I start getting all these different feelings, you know, my feelings go up, down, my feelings go up, down. Then, like, emotions, like, I start feeling, I would say, compassion. You know, I start reaching out to other people in the pod. I'd start interacting, you know, a little 5 o'clock community meeting, man. I'd really share how I truly felt, which I never did. You know, and most of the time when I say I was angry, I really wasn't angry. I was angry because I was sad, because I was feeling sorry for myself at that point in time, because I was right back in it. So that's what I was mad about. But the true feeling was I was really sad. And that's something that I never expressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to tell you I'm sad. You know, I'm not going to express my feelings, tell you I feel sorry for I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put on this mask. So as I start doing that, then I start sharing in groups, you know, like, and I tell people for me that when I share, I don't really share for you guys, man. I share to get what I get out of it. You know what I'm saying? I share, you know, like the amends. I'm not nowhere there yet, but I do know one thing. Like, I'm not gonna really make amends for somebody else to forgive me. I'm gonna make amends to forgive myself before I can expect anybody else to forgive me. And as I'm learning all this, you know, I get another opportunity, man. You know, the guy that runs the jail program, I grew up with him, man. I've known him for 35 years. He comes in there, and as I got to talking to him, and he was kind of distant from me because he already knows, like, I'll lash out, I'll be angry, I'll cuss him out, he knows all that. So one day he walks in there, and he says, Stu, I need you to do me a favor today, man. He said, I need you to get up, man, and just give me an elevator speech. I'm like, motherfucker, elevator speech? What, like, what, I didn't even know what that was. But anyway, I got up, man, and I shared some things that I had never shared with nobody. So that was like the first time in so many years that I felt emotions. Like, I felt that kind of accepted, man, because, like, the reaction that I got from people wasn't, oh, man, bro, stop crying. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a punk. I didn't get that reaction, man. I got people that wanted to give me hugs, that wanted to, that actually showed me they cared. Mind you, it wasn't but, what was it, John, 7 people? 6 people, Marsh? It wasn't many people in this program, but that helped me too because I didn't have to stand up in the middle of 25 people. So a couple weeks after that, he tells me, he's like, look, man, I'm just going to tell you, if you want to come to McShin when you get out of here, I got you a spot. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was comfortable, man. I was comfortable in that program. I had got to a point to where I could share some things. I could identify my feelings. I was comfortable, and I wanted to stay in that environment, to be honest with you, because I had done 11 years in that environment. That's where I was always comfortable. Every time, I can remember when the judge sentenced me, like, okay, bet. All right, I'll go do these 5 years. I can go back. I can get back, get what I thought that I could get back that would help me. Never. I might have went back and gained 20 pounds, but that I ain't gained nothing for myself. So they offered me that program. And he was like, well, look, this is what I need you to do. As soon as you get out, I need you to report immediately. I was like, all right, I can do that. And they're already telling me, when you get out, go straight to a meeting. If you can't get nowhere, go straight to a meeting. So, I'm battling court, coming back and forth to Henrico, back because I got court here. I got General District Court in Hanover. I got a violation in Circuit Court. I got General District Court here, and I had a possession charge in General District Court in Hanover, my first possession charge. And my lawyer told me, he said, look, this is what we're gonna do. We'll get you the first offender program. That way you won't have a conviction when you go upstairs for the violation. Only thing they can give you is a technical. That's 14 days. That's all they can give you on the second technical violation. Then we'll go to Henrico. And I'm like, man, I got 17 felonies in Henrico. You think they're gonna ride with a General District Court on a first offender program? He's like, yeah, I really believe I really believe it. So I get Hanover out the way. I get here, and my lawyer, he's trying to duck and dodge. Y'all know how the judge's situation goes. My lawyer's trying to duck and dodge and get the judge that he wanted in the room, and he trying to manipulate some shit for real. But I was thankful for it. But and it worked, man. It worked. But what really worked for me was he told me, because he knew my progress. He knew what I was doing in the McShin program in the jail. So he said, look, Stu, this is what I need you to do. I need you to speak. Like, I need you to go in court, and I need you to tell him where you came from, what you're doing, and where you want to go. So went into court. He comes back to the bullpen. He's talking to me. And he said, you ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. So I go in the courtroom, and I'm not really feeling no emotion. Because I just know I've already checked it off. Like, yeah, he's going to smoke me today. I'm going to jail. I know that. So when I go in the courtroom, they did their little talk in Commonwealth. And the judge asked me, he said, you got something to say? Well, I got 3 words out of my mouth, man, and I started crying. And he was like, you know what, Mr. Baker? He said, I tell you what, all I need to hear is this is what you want to do. I was like, yeah. That's exactly what I want to do. Exactly what he said, that's what I want to do. So he said, the judge told me this. He said, look, I'm not going to mandate you to a program. I'm not going to mandate you take substance abuse. He said, I'm not going to do none of that. He said, I'm going to send you home to your mom's house. He said, I've given you programs. You've bucked on them. You've never worked you've never took advantage of it. He said, so if you want to do it, you have to do it for yourself this time. So I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. So when I got home, he said, your probation officer, if he wants to send you to a program, then you can go. So I go, I get out, I call my probation officer. He's like, come see me again. I went and seen him on July 7th. He was like, look, whoever's going to accept you, you just go ahead on down there, call me, tell me where you're at. So, all right, bet. Went the very next morning. When I get to the intense house, there's 7 people in the house. Like, this 7 keeps popping up. That let me know right there that it's something greater than me working in my life. So when I get there, I'm 5 months clean. I've been in the jail program 5 months, been working a program. Some people count it, people don't. I did because I put the work in. I definitely put the work in, so I count my jail time. But when I got there, totally not what I expected. I got to go to 7 groups every day. I got to tell them how I feel. Pretty much the same thing as in jail, but I got a little freedom. So I go every morning. I go over here, tell them how I feel, tell them this, tell them I'm mad, still pissed off. This is in July. So I tell them the same thing, man, I don't even want to be around y'all, you know what I'm saying? They're telling me the statistics of the people that stay clean. They're telling me the statistics of the people that's dying. I'm hearing all these numbers, and I'm like, man. They tell me again, like, look, honest, open-minded, willing, that's all they tell me. We'll love you till you love yourself. They're telling me all these things, and to trust these people is like not in my wheelhouse. So I go and like probably, I don't know, a week or 2 after I was there, people started like gravitating toward me, showing me that they care, giving me hugs, all the stuff recovery brings, man. All the stuff that people in recovery bring. So they called me and they called me in the office one day, and they said, look, man, we're gonna speed your intense up. You've been clean 5 months. They was like, you progressing. We're gonna go ahead and put you in sober living. So when I get to sober living, matter of fact, I went in Art's house. Art's the assistant, and it was an assistant there that he's my mentor today. I look up to him. Pretty much gives me the most accurate footsteps that I can follow today. And when I say that, like, I call him, I talk to him at least 5 times a day. I see him sometimes twice a day, but it's really not a day that goes by that I don't call him. So when I walk up on the porch, and he's 6'3", 250 pounds. So when he gives me that hug, man, like, and he's so tall, he pretty much shoved my nose in his belly button type deal. You know what I'm saying? But like that hug, man, done something to me that I've never had before. I've never felt that feeling before. So first thing he says, he's like, look, Stu, I don't know how you've been living. I don't know what you've been doing. He was like, but this is how we're going to do it around here. And he sits me down on the porch, and he tells me I got to do my chores. He tells me I got to do all this, and I got to do all this. Now that I look back, the reason that that's so important to me, man, is because, like, I never accomplished nothing. So in the morning, if I do something as simple as do my chore and do it exactly how it's supposed to be done, make my bed, if I don't do nothing else all day and I come home and I haven't accomplished nothing, I'm coming home to 2 things that I've accomplished that day. And that's the last thing that I see when I lay my head down on the pillow. So as he's going through that, he was the type of guy, man, he was pretty stiff. Like if you ain't do your chore, if you ain't wash the dishes, he throws them in the trash. Like, all right, if y'all gonna use them and not wash them, just go ahead and throw them in the trash. But then he told me, he was like, look, we ain't just, and I kind of, after about a week of being there, you know, I'm just chilling, checking it out, seeing what it's about. And I'm telling him all these retarded things that I want to do. First thing I want to do is holler at this girl. Second thing I want to do is get a job, get some money so I can get me some shoes. And he's like, no, all that. He said, well, I got bad news for you. All that's dead. He was like, you're not even talking to a female for 90 days. You know, you're not, as far as a job, yeah, you know, you can go to work and all that, but I can tell you right now, you're not going to get a job that pays money to where you're going to be able to pay much more than your bed fees. He's like, so all these expectations you got, you might as well go ahead and kill them. So he starts telling me, he's like, you got a sponsor? I said, yeah, I got a sponsor. And so he tells me all these things that I have to do. He gives me these suggestions, and I'm still, you know, I call Marshall, man. Like, Marshall, I'll tell y'all, man, he's my sponsor, but he don't micro-sponsor me. But when I call him, like, I get so much, and he breaks it down for me so easy. It makes me understand it so easy to where, like, it's amazing to me, man. That's what 34 years, 35 years being clean will do for you anyway, you know. But as I started doing these things, and I say that because suggestions, like, that's a big part. Like, talking to me, I've always had that trust issue, so it's like I watch people and I watch their walk. You know, when people say walk that walk, you can talk that talk, but walk the walk and see what kind of difference you're gonna see. So the difference that I seen was I wanted to have something these dudes got. You know, I didn't have to be, because I was the type of dude where if we're walking in a group, I'm not going to walk with the group. I'm going to walk by myself just to be different. You know, but as I started working my program, as I started, like, digging deep down into myself, I found things that, and still finding stuff, and will probably find things for the rest of my life, you know, that is beneficial to me moving forward. Because one thing about it, man, like, the only thing that I do today that's exactly right, that's perfect, is I don't pick up drugs. You know, I still lie. I'll tell you a lie in a minute. You know, he asked me a week ago to come do this. If I'd have thought about it for a week, I'd have probably thought of a pile of lies to come in here and tell y'all. So when I come in here, I got to come off the top of my head. I got to come straight from my heart. But what's so important for my recovery, man, is I got a network. And it's not a network of men and women. It's a network of men. And the men in my network today is so important to me, because every decision that I make, I run it by these guys, man. Like, and when I say every decision, they asked me about a month and a half ago to go be a house leader at the biggest house of this program. And I was all for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So Rob pulls up one morning. That's my mentor, man. He pulls up one morning and says, "What's up, Stu?" Bam, I just reel it off. Man, they asked me to be assistant at McShin. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm do that. He was like, "Man, who made that decision?" I did. He was like, "That's dead. You know, that's all the way dead. You're not doing that." He was like, "I'll tell you what you do. You call Marshall at 9 o'clock and you call me back." I said, "Well, why can't I? Give me your input on it." He was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Call Marshall at 9 o'clock and you call me at 10 o'clock and I'll give you my input." I ain't even have to call him. I called Marshall. The whole assistant was dead. You know, and he broke it down why. You know, you got 22 people. I wasn't nowhere near ready to make that move at that point in time. Nowhere near. I called him. He told me, said, get a service position in your home group. I was like, all right. So I go to people and tell them, like, look, man, my sponsor said I need a service position. And my first thought is, I hate making coffee. I don't want to make coffee. So the first thing I tell them, I said, they want me to get a service position, but I'm allergic to coffee. And that's my way of thinking, man, for real. Like, that's why I say the only thing I do perfect is not pick up. So I go to the girl, and I'm cool with her. And I'm like, look, I said, man, I need a service position. She said, oh, well, that's good. We need a coffee maker anyway. I was like, oh, man. So for that split second, I thought of every way I could get out of it, but I did it. You know, and just having little simple things like that to me today is phenomenal to me. Because the first thing, when I wake up in the morning, man, first thing I'm going to do is, by all means, I'm going to think what's greater than myself. And it might not be God, it might be whatever, but that's what gets me through my day, man. So as I'm going, you know, as I'm getting through this sober living thing, you know, all you got 10 people in the house, you know, all personalities are you know, getting in the way, you know, and then what's greater than myself, that's where that comes in, because then that's where principles for personalities, that's where all these things that I've been learning, man, you know, because it's some days that I'll wake up and I'll say, man, this recovery thing, I just ain't trying to do it today, man. I'm not trying to do it. I had probably a month ago, I had a full week, man, 5 days, Monday through Friday, when that's how I was feeling. I wanted to disconnect myself. I wanted to, I didn't want to deal with recovery. I didn't want to go to the church, man, and hear all this positive stuff. I didn't want to hear all this inspiration that everybody gives me every day. So I stopped calling my mentor. Like, I didn't call him. So after one day, and this is how important my network is to me, after one day I didn't call this dude, he shows up to my bedside on the second day and is like, Stu, what's up? What you got going on? And this is what I told him. I'll never forget it. This is exactly what I told him. I said, man, I got to go to pretrial, man, at 10:30. I got community corrections at 11. I ain't going to be able to get there. I said, I got 2 people in the house that didn't do their chores. My life is completely unmanageable right now. He bust out laughing. He said, so you mean to tell me because of 2 pretrial appointments you got and 2 people not doing their chores, your life is unmanageable? I said, yeah, Rob, it is. Like, I can't get them, you know, this, that. And so, you know, a couple of days go by, then he's on me, you know. So I got to go up there, see him. I got to call him. I think I called Marshall a couple times during that little period. Told him how unmanageable my life was because I couldn't take a shower at 8 o'clock in the morning because somebody was in it. You know, it's them simple things that I have to, if I go in a grocery store today, I have to sit in the parking lot and tell myself, all right, Stu, you can't go in here and taste the fucking grapes, man. Like, that's stealing. You can't go in here and justify that you're going to taste one out of every bag to see which one's the sweetest. You can't do it. That's stealing. You know, that's just the simple things that I have to do today to keep clean, man, to stay clean. But one thing about it, my worst day today being clean is much better than my best day high, man, for real. Like, I don't have to chase nothing, man. I don't have to chase nothing that makes me feel good for 5 or 10 minutes no more, man. I chase a bunch of shit that's going to make me feel good about doing for the future. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to call somebody and steal from them. I don't have to manipulate them into giving me $100. If I'm broke today, I can be broke today. I don't have to have money to make sure that I'm gonna be well tomorrow. I don't have to have none of that, man. I can wake up and I can call somebody and share all this shit with them, and they're going to love me for exactly what that is. They're going to love me for exactly who I am, and they're not going to judge me. They're not going to say, oh, man, you can't come to my house. So after working all this program, my brother, nobody ever, they didn't want to talk to me. And the point on making amends, this is strictly what I call gifts of recovery today. My nephew, I was in his life, man. We was like 5, 7, 6 years old. I used to build cedar chests, China, you know, trunks, cedar, beautiful. So I helped him build this little table, man, when he was like 7 years old. So he reaches out to me about 3 months ago, and he sends me a Facebook request, and I accepted it. And about, I don't know, a couple days later, he calls me. Like, because I always put my I keep their numbers in my phones. You know, that's every time I get a phone, I add their numbers to my phone. So he calls me. I'm sitting on the porch with my nephew, and I'm like, "Damn, man, that's Tyler. I'm not answering that." He was like, "Man, yes, you are. Absolutely, you're going to answer that. You're going to answer it now, bro. Like, you need to answer that." So I answer it, and not even nowhere near ready for it. So I'm talking to him, and I said, "Look, man, like, I just wanted to break ice." I said, "Look," I'm talking to him about his job. I'm talking about his kids. I said, "Look, man, I just want you to know I'm sorry that I haven't reached out yet, man. I'm trying to work on myself. I'm trying to do some things different. I'm trying to live a better life, man. I can't be I can't be no good for you if I'm not no good for myself." This is what he tells me. He says, "Stuart, look, I don't care about nothing that has happened from this point behind us." He said, "I got 3 kids, I got a wife, I got a family, and I want you to be a part of that." So, like I heard somebody say, I heard somebody say today they kind of push their family away right now. And their family don't know what they're doing. Their family don't know what they're doing. Well, my nephew told me, he said, "Look, I've been watching you. I've been talking to people." He's like, "I know what you're doing. I want you to be a part of my life." So, like, making that amend, that's an amend made itself, man, just by my walk. Just by me doing the next right thing and people paying attention to me. So I talked to him, that was a month and a half ago. I talked to him again a week ago. And I told him, I said, "Look, man, I know it's the holidays. I don't want to put this on you right at the last moment, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year. But I'm celebrating a year clean, January 17th. I want you and Scott to come." That's my brother. And he's like, "Man, bet, I'll be there. I can't speak for Dad, but I'll be there, da-da-da-da-da." Haven't talked to my brother since I came home from prison in 2004. So I leave my mom's house the other day, and it was kind of like I just started going back to her house. I've been there probably 3 or 4 times since I've been out. So I'm leaving there, and my brother calls me. He's like, "Man, what you doing, bro?" I was like, "Man, I ain't doing nothing, man. On the way back to the house, da-da-da-da," trying to avoid the real reason that he's calling, because I know why he's calling. He didn't talk to his son. His son done told him. And so I talked to him for about 5 minutes, and he says, "Man, I heard you having a little celebration." I was like, "Yeah, man." I said, "Look, I want you to be there." And he was like, "Don't even say no more." He was like, "You just let me know where it is, what time it is, and I'll be there." So, like, to hear that, man, to hear him say, and he said the same thing because his wife's on Facebook, and not only that, but his wife judged me. His wife don't want to talk to me. When I see her anytime with any clean time or just getting out, "Well, you gonna do the right thing this time?" Not "I wish you luck," like already setting me up for failure in her own mind. So, like, as all that's progressing, man, I went to my mom. My mom, I told y'all, she's always been look, just be a man, do what you're supposed to do, just quit doing drugs. It's that simple. I'm like, "Okay, Mom, all right, that's what it is." So I went. I've never got any of that compassion from her that she showed me, man. And I said it earlier, man, to Amanda, because I talk to her all the time. Like, that's my best friend, man, for real. Her and Jules both. But my mom looks at me and says, "Listen, son," because I told her I'm worried, man. Like, I got to go back in here. I got to see COs. I got to see inmates. I'm going back like where I was once comfortable, and now I got to go being uncomfortable because I am. I was nervous, worried. All these feelings, all these emotions are walking back into this jail, and she looks at me and she says, "Look, she said, I don't really know what to tell you." She said, "The only thing I can tell you is I'm proud of you." She gave me this little speech. and she said, I can't really remember how she said it. I'm thinking a couple different things, but she pretty much told me, like, your worries today ain't gonna fix your problems tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, your worries gonna take your peace today. And when she said that to me, like, all my emotions, all my feelings, all my nervousness, all that shit, like, just went away. Like, it was like such a sign of relief, man, to hear my mom say something like that. And the reason I share that with y'all, man, is because, like, that's the gift of recovery, man. Like, for real. Like, when you got people that you really love, when you got people that you've loved your whole life, and had something taken it away from you, and then when it all comes back, you get all your feelings, you get all your emotions back, and these people don't want that. Like, because they haven't. Like, they didn't want to hear me say I love you. They didn't want to hear me say y'all. They didn't want to hear me say none of that because they knew it was some bullshit. Because I didn't love them. I didn't care about them. I didn't care that my nephew, that I pretty much helped raise till he was 10 years old, you know, I didn't care that that he's grown and got kids now, Marshall. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care about none of that. I didn't care that I buried my dad in 2007, man. I didn't even shed a tear. Like, just wanted to walk up to the casket and close it. Today, if I go to his graveyard, I'm bawling. You know, I got a best friend that I only knew his pops for about 3 years. I went to him with his grave the other day. Me and him, we're standing there bawling, crying. Like, I'm talking about basically, you know, and I can tell somebody today, man, like, I love you. It ain't no I love you, I did, you know what I'm saying? All these ways to justify, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and mean it, and really mean it. But my recovery network, man, my recovery community is so strong, man, that they don't it shows up in my life. If I try to set recovery to the side, it don't even work for me. It shows up in my life. Like, every day, on a everyday basis, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, the way the work that I put in to work my program, it just shows up for me. You know, no matter what, I do not pick up nothing that's going to get me high, that's going to alter my mood, that's going to change anything about me, change my thought process. Because I'll go sideways some days. I'll be angry, I'll be mad, I'll have all these feelings, and I don't have to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? I got to deal with them. I don't have to wallow in the problems that I got today. I can come up with solutions to deal with that. You know, how much time? Good. But, like I told y'all, man, y'all don't have to walk back in this door, man. Y'all don't have to pick up another drug. And all these gifts of recovery, man, the only message I come in here to share, man, is that no matter what, don't pick up. And I promise you, man, you won't have to walk in these jails. You won't have to lie to your people no more. You won't have to lie to yourself no more. So just be real, man. Thank y'all for letting me share, man. I love y'all.
Good job. Yeah. Good job. We appreciate you coming up in here. You know, you're going to get all kind of speakers we're going to bring up in here. And, you know, we're going to keep it real. This illness is real. It's out to get you. Anybody got any comments or thoughts on what you heard tonight? Yes, sir. Hey, if you want to say something, I'm going to hold that mic to you because that's so they can hear you all.
All right, my name is Pearlie. I wanted to say to Stuart, man, I'm very proud of what you done. I remember you in the program. You was one of a kind. Remember, you always would come in and talk to me and listen to a certain extent. But I always remember what you said, that you were trying to get it right. And I'm glad you took what I said. Not only what I said, but you learned. And this is you started in the RISE program. And this is what I call moving beyond RISE. You walking in that step. And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a preacher, doesn't it?
He is a preacher.
I got it. Oh, that's right. He is
a preacher.
Praise the Lord. You guys come late. Y'all want to say
Valleys
anything?
and bridges, baby.
You,
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Anybody else? Y'all like what we're doing here? You want us to keep doing it? Yeah. Bring them donuts next time, huh? Yeah. We working on it, ain't we, Marshall?
Hey, my name is Marshall, and I'm an addict. My takeaway from what Stuart was sharing is that, man, and y'all fall right into this, man. This is not an overnight thing, you know. Not an overnight process, man. He laid the foundation for recovery. None of us have laid a perfect foundation for recovery, you know, but he stayed with it. He stuck with it. He had that willingness that he talked about all the time, you know. And when you got that, when you do what they suggest in this program, man, those are, like he said, gifts of recovery. I knew that Stu was going to share tonight. I called him twice. You know, we talked early this morning, talked to him again, and then I sent him a text. And I'm not the only one. Amanda talked to him, and, you know, they made a text or whatever. Rob talked to him, and they may have said, the people at the house talked to him, and they may have said, you know, this is what he talked about when he talked about a network. Man. A network is necessary. You know what I mean? Because a network, a lot of times, will not let you fail. You know? If you're going through something, your network, they the first one to pick that up. You know? And so that's how it's worked for him. It's not an overnight success. I'm glad he has stayed with the process. And it gets better. It gets better. It gets better.
What I heard was get Marshall to be your sponsor, man. That's the
Yeah.
hit right there.
Absolutely.
How many of y'all gang members or been in a gang? A couple folks? Well, we invite you to our gang, the recovery gang, okay? This is the gang you want to be in. This is a gang of love, support, and a pathway forward. I mean, anybody that comes into recovery and does it the way the recovering people do it, it's almost like you can't miss, man. But, you know, you don't have to be as hard-headed as Stuart. You know, you don't have to go down that road. You know, some of you can get off that elevator now, you know. So, Sheriff, you got any last words for us?
That was ironic. The preacher is the only gang member.
Right?
Right. It's the Jesus gang.
Thank you, Stu.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
thank
Thank
you.
you for the
Oh, look at that.
So I'm just like, it's amazing to see somebody like, first, the realness is unbelievable. You know, just openly, honestly sharing how they feel right now. It's not perfect, right? This walk is not going to be perfect. But did you hear him say that his worst day clean beats anything that he had in addiction? You can't get that. Even a bad day is good when you work in the steps, when you in recovery. Who don't want that? Like, I get to see y'all now, and y'all look pretty good. Because, I mean, I seen all y'all mugshots when y'all came in. You look amazing. Like, I want this for your family. I want them to see you like you're clear, you're focused. Some of y'all, this is your best you. Take your best you out there and make your family. I'm so proud of the people that John has brought back in here. And especially Stu. And I tell you, you were the most watched speaker we've had yet. And you had a lot of shout outs and a lot of support. Your circle is amazing.
It is.
And like, you can have that. So thank y'all.
He made him promises he probably can't fulfill.
But yes,
Look, man, I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show you. That's my mug. That's my mug shot right there.
Yeah.
That's my mug shot.
Yeah, he looks better.
Because you look good now. Let me see.
He looks better.
Let me
Yeah.
You know I'm a selfie queen. Come on here, cousin. Selfie right there.
That's a hit right there.
Yes. Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
All right, gang, we're going to call it a night. We'll see y'all. We're going to come back here next week and go back to Easter week after. That's what I've been told.
All right, brother.
Happy
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man. Keep your head up.
Those maps got some good.
Yeah, whatever. I know it was some.